I personally am a cancer survivor. Myself, I've had stories that I can share about having to carry images from one appointment or visit to another. And it's something that I think we desperately need to solve for, not just for images in clinical trials, but data in the context of clinical trials. We've got to get better at being able to share this with the appropriate parties as quickly as possible.
In the 1930s, we didn't have any kind of regulations. And a fun fact that I didn't know, so Switzerland was the first nation who then put out clinical trial regulations. That was sometimes in 1932 that they came up with the first regulation. Then I talked about all these incidences about the Tuskegee study, the sulfinalamide disaster, the thalidomide tragedy, and what the impact of these tragedies were on the regulations and where we stand now with it.
So we're talking about technology, but we're talking about what are the downstream impacts for not just when a patient is in a trial, but years later, when they're in the next trial or they're using this imaging for their own care. And so we really talked about it in many different ways. The way that I really focus on it is that utility for the patient, but it's also coming from how is the data stored? And it's really something that's not being done to the extent I think it will be done very soon. So we were talking about that from multiple angles, because this is part of future development.
It's been fantastic in terms of engagements, and the delegates stopping by have been really keen to have quality discussions. We've had a lot of interest and also information shared about some of the needs, challenges and gaps that our sponsors are seeing today in the landscape. So it's been critical for Scout, and I'm sure for other vendors as well, to really understand what's changing in the clinical landscape, particularly within the European region.
I find it great that you have not only CROs and sponsors participating, but also the patients' advocates participating, and patients sharing their experience, so that everyone can be reminded what we are doing clinical trials in oncology.